Hello, everybody. This is Althea Taylor, Executive Director of the Immigration Alliance, and I am joined today by two beautiful people, a wonderful couple, friends and colleagues in ministry, and I have invited them to share their story, their journey on through the immigration system. With me this morning is the Reverend Norberto Rivera, aka Tito Rivera, and his beautiful, beautiful wife, Nancy Rivera. They both serve. He's a local pastor in the on the Metro District of the Church of the Nazarene. And Nancy serves, and he serves in ministry capacities, not only as the pastor, but he also serves our district in various hats, as well as his wife, Nancy, serves as the assistant to our district superintendent. But they're not here for their professional experiences. I've asked them to join us today to share the story, their journey through immigration. Nancy's story in particular, as Nancy is a recent citizen in the United States. Just before she begins to share her story, you know, the Immigration Alliance exists to mobilize the church in walking with immigrants in our communities. And we want to cultivate relationships with those who are on the journey of being here in these United States. And as I learned Nancy's story and just knowing who she is and how beautiful she is on the inside, and I learned her story, I said this was a story that we needed to hear and see, because not every story is the same. Immigration is not just statistics that we hear in the news, but for every statistic that we hear, there's a story behind it. Immigration is not a political ping pong ball as it is often used in our society. The immigration system and folks who are navigating their way on this journey, immigration is about people, not about politics, not about posturing, it's about people. And the church is called to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And so welcome, Tito and Nancy. I'm going to ask Nancy just to share with us briefly her story. And it's just a conversation between friends. So welcome. Nancy, why don't you share with us?
Thank you, Althea. Hello, everyone. It's for me a pleasure, and I'm so excited to share my story with anybody that is looking for to hear that there is hope. And I kept on repeating that myself through the whole process. It was hard at times, but I came to this country in the year 2002. And I went back out because my father, he was here, he had a stroke, and he went back to Argentina, and then he went back to Italy. The reason why I came here, I was able to get into the United States without a visa, is because my father, he was Italian. He already passed and passed away in 2013. So because of him, I was able to have the Italian citizenship, and because of that, I had a passport, an Italian passport. So I came here freely because European people can come here without a visa. At least it was like that at that time. I don't know about right now, but he came here also, and he had a stroke. He went back, and then he went back to Italy. I was the only single one in the family because my two brothers were married. So I felt in my heart that I needed to go see my parents, even though, maybe that meant for me not to come back to this country, or maybe they will not allow me to get in again. So I went to Italy to see my parents. When I was there, my passport expired. So I went and I had another passport, and I told my parents, I don't like it here. I want to go back. So I tried, and I came back, and it was okay. They let me in. This was in 2007.
From Italy, right?
From Italy. I came back from Italy in 2007. I came here with another passport. So it was another number passport. So that's why they allowed me to come back in. Apparently that
you might
was,
want to explain by another passport because they're gonna think you're like a CIA agent.
No. It
with
was
multiple
the
passports.
same person, but because you go actually to the country, it's not an embassy. Like I did it in Argentina. My first passport was in an embassy, issued in an embassy in Argentina. So the second one was in Italy, and the number changed. At that time, they didn't use the, what's that?
Biometrics, the fingerprint.
Yeah, they didn't do all of that. That's why, they didn't find out, I guess. In a way, I'm gonna be honest, when I came in, I was like, I think this is wrong. I don't know if it's right or not, but hey, I came, I passed. And I say, I'm never going to let that passport expired, or I don't want to be without papers in this country. So I'm going to save enough money. I was working here and I saved money to go out and in of the country to keep every 3 months my status.
Your status with your Italian passport?
Legal, yes, legal
Okay.
status, like a tourist, not
Okay.
not a resident.
Okay.
The last time I had a ticket to go to Mexico because I love travels. So I went to Costa Rica. I went, and then my last trip was going to be to Mexico, and then I was going to go back to Argentina because I wanted to continue my studies. I wanted to be a doctor. So I met Tito and in that time, and we fell in love. And a couple months after, 5 months to be exact, we got married. So I ended up not going to Mexico. And
what year was this?
This was in 2009.
Okay.
So we got married in 2009. But all this, staying or going, or all that was in 2008. So by the time I got married, I already lost my tourist status.
Okay.
Yes. So I was not undocumented, but I was illegal. So we got married, and a couple months after, we started the process.
So I'm sorry, Nancy. So you were undocumented because your visa had expired on your Italian passport.
Yes, when you stay here, even with a visa, tourist visa, they give you 90 days.
Right.
If you come on vacation or whatever it is, even European people, they give them 90 days. I overstay my stay, I guess. So yeah, and a year will be a year after, because we got married and then we waited a little and then we started the process. This was a year already with being illegal here. So I did all the process. We fill up all the documents, and then the time of the interview came. And for us, our marriage, it was true. We were in love. We were, there saying the truth.
We had all the pictures to prove it.
Yeah, I have my album.
Let me clarify just for a moment. Tito, you are a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're a citizen, and so you're in the process of adjusting your status, wanting to adjust your status.
Yeah.
Because you're married to a U.S. citizen.
Exactly.
So you wanted to move from being undocumented to now reestablishing legal status in the United States.
Yes.
Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
That's right. So, well, we were in front of this immigration officer, and she started asking me questions, and we spoke ahead, and we say, well, I mean, we were trusting that everything was going to be okay. And I say the truth to everything she asked. She asked me about when did I came into the country for the first time. And apparently, when I went back to Italy and I came back with my
The new passport.
new passport, apparently that was some type of fraud that I did not know.
Which passport? The Argentinian passport?
No, 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 no. The Italian passport.
Okay.
Argentinians cannot get here with no visa.
Okay.
At that time, I just had my two citizenships, which is Argentinian and Italian, but they allow me to come here because of the Italian citizenship.
Okay.
So right there and there, I was feeling awful when she already told me that that was absolutely wrong what I did. I felt like a criminal, right? You know, they don't
She actually called her a criminal right
Yeah.
there in the interview. And for us, we go to church. That's the one thing, you know, like we're trying to be good citizens or good people of our community and just do everything by the book, do everything right. You know, we're trying to make things right. We're not trying to hide. And then for someone to look at you straight in your face and say, yeah, it was a crime. You are considered a criminal. It was like a shock. That was like the first blow.
Yeah.
So she could continue with the other ones that came along with that one.
Okay.
So at that time, she told me that I was a criminal, that what I did was absolutely wrong, and the way they have sometimes some people communicate this stuff is not like, oh, you didn't know, but this is what happened, and this is, but it was just right there. So it was a shock for me that I was already supposedly a criminal here in the United States, and I'm thinking in my head all this movie, right? My husband is a citizen. What are we gonna do now? But my husband had very clear, and thankfully he loved me the way I did too, and I do, because he said right there, wait a minute, how are we gonna fix this? He said, and she stopped talking to me. From then on, from there on, she just blocked me and she started just talking to him, to my husband. And
we had a large photo album that just had pictures of our wedding, birthday, just like things that we've done together, and friends and family and
the youth, we were working.
Yeah, youth group, camps, like just so much stuff. So I was like, this is a walk in the park. We're gonna get through this real quick. And she put all that stuff to the side. She looked straight at me. She goes, here's the situation. And I'll never forget. I felt, she looked at me, she says, you're young. You got a full future ahead of you. You're gonna be able to finish school soon, and you can find another wife.
Wow.
She'll have to go back to her country, but you can start over again. And I don't know if she was trying to test me, if this was trying in my head, was this some type of trick? This is some type, and I just didn't know what to say at first. I was just I looked at my wife and I looked at her, I was like, no, this is my wife. I got married. I'm in my country where I was born, and I want to be free in my country to fall in love with the person that I want to have, you know, the person I want to be with. I was like, and if you deny her, I remember I told the lady, I was like, you deny her, then you deny me. You not only lose her, but you lose a U.S. citizen. And I just couldn't believe it. I was in shock. And
I never forget that he said, I can believe it that, you know, you taking my right as a U.S. citizen. He said, to have the person that I want to marry, I want to have kids, I want to have my family, and you taking her away from me. So obviously I'm going with her, he said. So right there, after everything, she was like closing all my files, and, you know, and he said, there's any way possible, any papers, any forms that we can fill up. And
I was practically begging her. I was like, if I leave this interview without like saying anything, I got to find out some information. I was like, please, if this, I felt like I was groveling to like the U.S. government, and it felt dehumanizing a bit, because I'm not saying she represents everyone, but at that moment she represents the United States in that interview, and just her demeanor was just like as we're just a number. It's just another case. You know, we've heard these stories before, and I said, please, is there anything? Tell me anything that I can do to fix this, or to a pardon or something. What can we do?
So she said, well, actually no, but if you want to try, she said she's gonna have to fill up a waiver, and then she's gonna have to fill up another form. They have so many forms, so many numbers and letters, that I would love right now to learn all of them, just to know. So she said here, but just to let you know, this will help her in her situation only if your life or the life of a citizen is in danger, or in her in their lives or your lives to him, right? Depends on her staying here. You're young. She actually say this: you're young and handsome, and you have all the strength that I see you healthy, and your life doesn't depend on her staying in this country. So, but if you want to try, you can try. We came out of there. I wanted to have hope. Like he always been this person that, listen, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. He's always been there trying to uh, support me and telling me all this stuff. Even if we have to leave, well, we'll leave. What's the matter? They're not gonna take our lives.
I was upset. I wasn't trying to show her. I was distraught and upset at the same time. I'll never forget coming out of the building right there in Newark, New Jersey, right off of
21
Broad Street.
Broad Street, yeah.
We were crossing the street, and my mind was going a mile a minute. I was like, I just can't believe it. I was, you know what? We're leaving this place. Let's go.
So what happened next?
What happened next?
You leave the office.
I left the office. I was about to pass out. I felt sick. So I came home, and all the people around us started writing letters and trying to help my brother. He had heart problems. He
all our friends and family chipped in.
So you were trying to find a reason that you had to, that your departure,
Yes.
that your life depended on it, that you had to
Yes.
remain together.
Because
Yes.
all these letters.
Did you ever find that reason?
What happened was that at the time of the interview, I was already pregnant, and I did not know that. We didn't. So yes, the life of a citizen in my tummy, in my stomach, was growing.
So while the lawyer, because we had gotten a lawyer to help us prepare this pardon or this petition. So with all the letters and all the more evidence and all that stuff, I was the last letter. I was the last one to write my letter. But when I wrote my letter, I was the only one to know that Nancy was pregnant, because we found out she was pregnant. And then I wrote my letter. And in my letter, I stated, not only will you, I need my wife and I need my son. I said, not only will you deny me the freedom and my liberty to have my wife, but also my firstborn. And I said, please, I want my family here. And that's it. We send it off.
Yeah. And not even a month later, I got the letter saying, welcome to the United States. So yep, I had my working permit first. And then I had, after that, 3 months after that, not even 3 months after that, I had my my residency only for 2 years. And after the 2 years, I received my residence for 10 years that I needed to renew.
So
what year are we in now? Give me a proximity.
After 2 years, 2012, I had received my permanent residency, and something happened, and I got arrested. So that was for me, oh my goodness, what did I do? How am I going to, it was a mistake. So how am I going to fix this? And always in my head, and people that are immigrants are going to understand, when a police stop you or anything happen, you have that in your head. You don't have
you're nervous.
Yeah, you don't have the freedom to make a mistake almost here, because something might happen to you and your family. And I already have my little Caleb. So
and even as simple as a traffic stop, the most smallest things. It could be someone calling the cops on you, your neighbor, whatever, any type of interaction with law enforcement or you just get so nervous.
Yes.
That's a powerful statement, that you don't have the freedom to make a mistake. You feel as though you have to be perfect because of your status.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have an interaction with law enforcement. Your son is already born by now. We're around 2012, somewhere in there. Bring me forward into how did we move there?
5 years after I had my residency, supposedly I was able to become a citizen, but no, because of this, what happened in 2012. So I waited and I waited and I looked at my resident card, my green card, and it says that in 2022 it was going to expire. And that, I'm sorry, that started again. It's just like, it's never ending, Lord. I mean, I came here in 2002. Even when I came the first time, I already had in my head, are they going to let me in? Just all that doubt. And then I went to Italy and came back. Are they going to allow me? Are they going to treat me right? Are they going to say something to me? Are they going to make me feel bad or whatever it is? And then going back and trying to sustain this status and the same thing every time I will go out of the country and come back, and I have that in my head, in my mind. I fell in love with this country. I did not fall in love with the immigration system, but everything else I did. I wanted to study here. I wanted, before we got married, I have, this I'm going to study. I will do my life here.
Life here in the United States.
Yes. But before we got married, I was like, that's not going to happen. It's not possible for me to study here. So I'm going to go back to my country. And then our marriage happened.
Which by the way, she had told me, we were dating, and she's like, I'm going back to my country because I don't see a future here. She goes, not because I don't want one. It's because my status is just too hard. And when I heard that, I said, no, baby, you are staying here.
We were already engaged before I started dating.
I said, I told her, and no matter what it takes, we're going to make this happen. And we're going to go through this together. I'm going to walk with you. We're going to do this. All right. And that's where we are. That's
He's always
so walk me through now. It's you see the time running out on your green card, your legal permanent residency card that you have, that has established you, that you acquired because of your marriage, and getting over that hurdle.
Now
were there difficulties now from that point to
from there, we fill up the papers, thank God, and many angels in this journey, a lawyer that helped us to fill up those papers, send them, and I waited, and then COVID hit. This was in 2019 that I filled up the papers, December. So the whole 2020 was silence.
That was a difficult silence.
It was a difficult silence. It was never peace in my heart. I wanted to. There was days that I was hopeful, and other days that I said to Tito, I don't think this is gonna happen, because everything that you look in the internet, and this is something that I wanted to say to whoever is listening, is not truth. There's many things that you can listen and learn in the internet, but there's other people that you're gonna find every different stories. So it was scary to me to hear, they're gonna go back, and me going back to the same place where somebody actually make me feel this little and kicking me out because I was a criminal and my marriage wasn't, truth or whatever. I didn't want to go back.
You're speaking about all the information we found, like on YouTube and articles.
Yes. So, oh, they're gonna go back to that. On top of that, what happened in 2012 is not gonna be good. And I have that fear. 2020 was like that. And then in the beginning of February, I have the letter with the day for my interview. And my
Of
heart,
2021.
2021. Yes.
Okay.
And the day for my interview was April 2015. Before that, I went to do all my, what's the name again?
Biometrics.
Biometrics and all that. And then after that, I received my letter. April 2015 was my appointment. So I studied, and I studied the heck out of it. I mean, I studied a whole lot. I didn't only study the little booklet that they gave me that was easy to learn. I studied even more. I was like,
every day was a quiz. Every day was
Yes.
a quiz. Dinner time, lunchtime, breakfast. We had that book, and I was reading questions.
So we know that you passed because you are a citizen.
Yes, I did pass. Yes. When I went for my interview, for my interview for my citizenship, they told me that he wasn't able to come, but then I find out that, you know, he was able, but I was there waiting, and probably it was the plan of the Lord, I think, because I was by myself and I wasn't distracted. So I will see faces coming out of the other side. That's how I'm gonna put it, the other side. And people came out, their faces like, you know, with no hope. People came out crying. I can't even explain to you. And all of that is, you know, me, I went through all this. It was almost 20 years. So accumulated. So there's many other people older than me, people younger than me. And there was all the people that came out smiling and happy. But in my head, I was like, Lord, if you allow me, just allow me to have this so I can help others. And I understood that the phrase that Pastor Sam said on District Assembly, he said, the grace of the Lord falls on me on its way to others. And at that moment, I didn't hear that phrase yet, but I was like, Señor, I said, Lord, please, I wanna come out of here victorious for my family, of course, for me. I want to be a testimony, but I can't come out of here and not tell my story or help somebody with something. So when I went in there, somebody called me and she looked intimidating. So my knees were like,
I think everyone in the office looked intimidating.
Yeah. So she asked me for my papers and my document, my passport. She, you know, told me to go inside, and she was in front of me, and I was praying, and I was looking at her feet actually, and said, Lord, every step that this lady, you know, takes, just let it be a blessing for others, wherever she goes, whatever. And we went into the last office. That walk was so long for me, and we sat down, and she started asking me things about my name, and all, you know. But when she came across again to my Caleb is my boy, the one that I was pregnant with in the first interview. And she said to me, Caleb, that is a Bible name. She said, you know what that means, right? And I said, yes, I know what that means. That's why his name is Caleb. She started talking to me about my son and his name. And then she asked me about my daughter, and she just told me right there, okay, we're going to fix this in your name, because now that you're going to be a citizen, she said, you're going to need all this straight out. And in my heart, I felt this relief. That's when I was like, okay, she gave me peace with those words. And I said, because what happened before in my history that you reading, because she had a file of me, and I saw pictures there. That's another thing. I saw pictures there that I never gave to them. I saw
Wow.
pictures that I have in my Facebook account. So I don't know. She had a file like this big of me. So she said to me, listen, you didn't need to bring lawyers or anybody, because the best lawyer you can have is sitting right next to you, she said.
Mm.
Grabbed her phone and she looked into her phone for a Bible verse, and she told me, listen, you're not going to be alone. You're never going to be alone. He walks with you. You're not alone. And I felt like it was an angel talking to me. This was, to me, she was amazing. And whatever feeling or whatever idea that I have of immigration officers, because of the first
First
person
one.
right there, everything was erased. And to me, the second interview, which is this one, she had a whole lot more to tell me. No, you terminated, you're not going to have it, more than the first one, because in the first one I was so like, oh, you're trusting that this is gonna be quick, and she ended up telling me that I was a criminal. And then in the second one, that I know I have history, and they already told me that supposedly I was a criminal, she make me feel like, no, listen, what happened in 2000, don't worry about it, you are clean. And she was a believer, and she treat me so well, so good. And I feel peace. When I came out of there, I said, oh my goodness, I will hug you, but we're in COVID. And she actually came around and gave me a hug. And yes, and and she left, and they called me. I did my ceremony. It was amazing to me. It was just, I was walking in clouds.
So you are a U.S. citizen, and I know
Yes.
time is leaving us, but tell me,
Yes.
you had an attorney throughout this process,
Yes.
and without the specific details, was it a financial burden for you guys, legal fees that you had in terms of this 20-year journey, really, that you were on?
Yes.
How were the legal fees? Were they manageable? Were they really hard to figure out how you were going to come up with the funds?
The legal fees were substantial. We had some a family and friends that they helped us out, but most of the brunt of all the fees we had to put on credit cards because we didn't have the money. And we
So
were
not
just
only is the process long, it's very expensive.
in the thousands, depending on your lawyer fees or what paperwork you need to submit. And it almost felt, I'll be honest, it almost felt like if this was some and I'm not saying it is, but it almost felt like some type of plan to get money from us, like money from where we don't have. Like, you want me to send you more money because I want to stay, because I want my family to stay in this country. And it was frustrating. It was it was weird because I don't know firsthand, being a U.S. citizen, how she exactly felt. But the emotional toll of this prolonged journey of not knowing of what they're gonna say. Do you have to pick up and move your family to another location? It was exhausting. It was to the point, you know what, Lord, like I it is what it is. Just be with us. And I remember being in the car, and she was texting me. She goes, she was nervous. I'm about to go into my interview because we didn't know if I was able to go or not. And I'm in the car, and I'm thinking, where my kids in school and this, all these different things. And then I'll never forget the text message. She called me because she snuck out to the bathroom before her ceremony, and she was just crying on the phone. And I said, what happened? And she says, the Lord sent me an angel. The Lord sent me an angel. And I'm in the car, like I'm putting money in the meter, and I'm yes.
I can see that it's still emotional, Nancy, and I know that they're tears of joy, but it was a 20-year journey for you, and I know that it could not have been easy for you on your emotions and just the stress level. And and here you are 20 years later, you're still married, you have 2 children. Tell me, as someone who, as I said at the beginning, the church, we're in the church, and you know firsthand what the journey is like. And you said that, even during this interview, that you want to help. How, because of what you've been through, how do you I'm sensing you feel compelled to do something. In what ways can you envision yourself even being able to help?
Definitely. I want to do something. Everything that I do right now, I'm thinking, how would this can be used for this specific reason. I translate for Pastor Sam. I'm translating for many other people. I was pushed to do that, almost forced to do that because I was always afraid. My first language is Spanish, and this man, awesome man of God, he speaks difficult words, but he's also Jamaican. So to me, it was like, oh my goodness. And it's just a simple conversation before to pass with Pastor Sam. I understood, like, let's just say 85%. How am I going to translate? Every time I stand up from the first day, I understand 110% of what he says. And that helps me. And I say, this is from God. Why I don't use this also? I was thinking, okay, now that I am a citizen, before I was able to go to school, but like I said before, it's always like, is it going to happen? Am I going to stay here? All this time doubting, probably this is not where I will stay for the rest of my life. But now I know this is a turn. And this is like, yes, you will stay here. So now do something. And in me, I want to inform people. I want to let other people, I want to let people know in my church, what can we do? Something as simple as opening the church probably 1 to 2 hours a week and having somebody advising people that don't have probably the resources. Maybe we as church, we can raise up some money and pay an attorney, pay some legal advisor to come and speak to those that don't really have the money, that they go to work every day and they don't have enough money to pay even a car. Probably they are in buses and we know what. So I want to help those people. I want to go to school. I want to get a certificate in what I'm doing, which is translation to. I was thinking, and I told him, this is crazy, but I'm like, I wish I can get into the system somehow, prov officer, showing mercy to others, just like me. But all of that in my personal life and studies, I'm still thinking, but I know for sure that I will. I want to know, like I told you before, I want to know the names of all those forms and letters and numbers.
Well, that is Nancy, that is a perfect segue. And I want to just say to you that the word of God is true. We're told in Romans 8:28 that God works all things together for good for them that love God and for those who are called according to his purposes. Your journey of 20 years was more than just about you. It was about sensitizing you, I believe, to the journey of so many like you and you know what it is to go through the journey. You know all the emotions that you go through. You know how you feel. And as someone who was in the church, the beautiful thing about immigration is it is a means and a way by which those of us in the church can have a witness in the world and walking with those who are sojourning in this land. As a matter of fact, Scripture has commanded us to care for those who are amongst us, to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And so, as someone who sits on the same district with you, of course, I'm excited because there's work to be done. You can learn all the forms. You can walk with people and help them in processing their understanding the immigration system, as broken as it is, but understanding how to navigate and help someone to have an easier time and hopefully not have to go through as much as you went through. But even if we don't do that, there's still other ways, as you said, there's ways that the church can show radical hospitality, helping people navigate through just everyday life, helping people learn to speak English, helping people learn to complete forms, helping people learn how to navigate to take the bus, transportation, how to enroll their children in school. What are the cultural norms? There's so much that we can do. And I just know that it is just beginning for you. It is just beginning for you because God has brought you through the journey so that the same thing that you heard, grace comes to you on its way to someone else. And so I just pray that the blessing of the Lord would continue to be upon you and Tito. You guys pastor a church. You are in a thriving community of immigrants, and you are more than just reading about it or, being, you can help to dispel the fear that everybody is reading online and say, I know what you're reading, but let me speak to you from what my journey was. And not that your journey is everyone's journey, but you can understand, you can have empathy. So I just want to thank you guys for being with me today and taking the time to share your story.
Thank you.
I've not seen the last of you. I know that. And there's plenty of work to do here where we are in the New York area, but there's plenty of work to be done all across the country. And I have a feeling that our time together on this issue is just beginning, just beginning.
That's right.
So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you guys for sharing your story with me. Any parting words that you want to say of encouragement to anyone who is going to watch this?
Just don't stop and just continue trusting in the Lord and look for help. Listen to, well, first of all, videos like this and try first of all to hear from God, pray, and all I can say is just don't stop, because even when we think that things can be impossible, like the second interview that I had, that I thought everything was going to be terminated, it was the best feeling ever. I felt the love, I felt loved, I felt how the Lord was with me. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Good, thank you. And Tito?
And thank you for listening to my story. Thank you.
Oh, it's anytime, my love, anytime. Tito, any parting words that you would like as someone who was a companion on the journey? You were in the journey with her, but as you said, you're a U.S. citizen. You were born in the United States. You were born as a U.S. citizen. So you may not feel it, but you watched it and you watched your wife go through it. What would you like to say to encourage those who are listening today?
First, as someone, maybe a spouse or a family member of someone going through this process, I would say just patient, listen, have empathy. A lot of times the not knowing, the big question marks, produce a lot of fear and anxiety, and it drives you to look for resources and information that will drive up your fear even more. Take a step back and try to look for the resources that are going to give you the truth. Have a community of grace, of people that can pray with you, be there with you, just to listen to that anxiety. There was times that the night before, I just let her, just say what she had to say, and I'm here with you. Don't worry, we're gonna get through this. I think it helped calm her down. But I would just say that when that fear starts to come and all those doubts, having a community around you, and I think that's what Immigration Alliance does, and what we as a church are trying to do, be that community that could bring the truth, the love, and the grace to individuals, where we can say, listen, we're going to walk with you, we're going to listen, we're going to give you all the resources you can on a case-by-case basis if we can, and we're going to get through this together. And I would say that is the main thing and the main ministry of what we want to do, and what we want to do with you through Immigration Alliance.
Wonderful. Thank you. Again, I want to thank you guys for sharing your story with us. I know that it is going to inspire and encourage someone. And for those of you who are watching, who are affiliated with the Immigration Alliance, and you are providing legal services in your community, I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. You're blessing the lives of so many, and those who you are helping, it's going to come back tenfold, because we are doing what God has commanded us to do. And for those of you who are interested in knowing how you can do that and how you can be involved, whether you're helping with legal services or you just want to know how your community can be involved in sojourning and walking with the immigrant community outside of legal services, by all means, please reach out to us at theimmigrationalliance.org. Full word, theimmigrationalliance.org. Get in contact with us. We're here for you. We're here for the church. God bless you. It was great being with you today.
God bless you.